Hey, it's Clay. Welcome to another video. This is going to be a little bit of a run-through of a amp that is near and dear to my heart. I know it says Marshall Classic, but that's not what we're doing. We're doing the Junior Blues, which is the XFX model of the Fender Blues Junior, the infamous tube amp. Now, I have always just kind of messed around. I mean, the Blues Junior was my very first tube amp. If you go back to my very first videos, I have terrible recordings of the Blues Junior on my channel. They sound awful. But I had this amp for many years and enjoyed it for many years and have since moved on to bigger and better things. But I was kind of messing around and found this Blues Junior and thought, hey, why don't we do a quick run through? I think people would be curious to hear how it sounds. So this is just a preset I dialed up. So basically what I do is I take my stock Marshall preset and I just save it to a new slot, and then I swap out the amp block. So all of my effects and foot switch everything with my live controller is all the same, but I did reset the amp and cab block. Now, second thing to note is I have been using this IR. This is the factory 459 4x12 TV mix, and I really like this, but I might mess around with the stock one. I didn't think it sounded that great, to be honest, but hey, for nostalgia's sake. So anyways, let's go ahead and hear. This is kind of a crunch sound. You see the master is on 10 and the drive is on 6, so this is pretty pushed. So a pretty good sound there. I really dig this. Now what I want to do is actually, I want to go to more of a stock, kind of the way I used to run it. And we'll just see how this sounds. So we're going to go back to the, you know what, I'm actually just going to go ahead and do this as well. Let's just reset this block. So I do tend to get a little bit into the in-depth settings on some of my presets. I know, for example, this low and high and the D phase is usually up, so we're just going to go totally stock and see how it sounds. Let's also just reset this guy as well. See where we're at. So one of the things I used to do is, I'd have to keep the master down because I was in the dorm room. I would always set the master at about 2. Crank the drive. Oh, look at that, melt faces. And then turn the fat on. Kind of pinchy to me. Not the best sound. Sounds a lot more boxy. I think some of it has to do with the cab. I want to go back to my favorite IR, see if that does what I want it to do. Some of these, I like to bring a little bit of this. Let's do it about 100. And bring this high cut down to about 14 or 15. So what this is doing is on a lot of, I've been getting a little bit into mixing, and what a lot of guys will do is they'll use some EQ to just taper off some of the extremes. So with the low cut, so we're removing everything below 95 hertz. So that's very, very low and rumble. It really isn't even like the audible notes. Like, I don't know exactly what a low E is on a guitar, but I know like on a bass, a low E goes down to about 40 or so. So you're removing stuff that really isn't even audible, and especially if you're playing up on the neck, you're just going to clean things up. And then also on that high end, you're getting some of that really, really high-end piercing, not so fun noises. So just kind of cleaning things up a little bit. I'm also going to add some D phase, just about 5. No, it actually helps a fair amount. Even though the master is low and the input drive is way up, kind of a bedroom setting. It is pretty authentic to what I remember my old Blues Junior being like. So now let's just try this. that's pretty maxed out. It's not such a terrible sound. I don't hate it. Now I really want to try a clean. Pretty good cleans. I would say the Blues Junior has a good clean sound, and I think especially with this IR that I really enjoy, I think it sounds pretty darn good. So anyways, those are some sounds from this crazy little amp, and I really enjoy that the XFX has modeled it. You know, if you look at a lot of other modelers, I mean, other than really the Kemper, I don't think they would really even be interested in doing something like a profile of a Blues Junior. But I just find it very kind of enjoyable that Fractal has it. It's kind of a fun amp. You know, a Blues Junior is, like I said, it was my first tube amp. It is very heralded in the guitar community as kind of one of the proverbial starter tube amps. And to kind of relive some of this glory in the digital realm, you know, and it's been years since I owned a Blues Junior. And honestly, I probably wasn't even able to use, I mean, I didn't really know anything about settings and master volumes and power amps, and I lived in a dorm room, so, I mean, I honestly think this Blues Junior sounded a lot better than the one I had, especially being able to use this cab block, and, you know, even with this amp block, you know, there's some things that I didn't even really get to, you know, with, let's see, some of the things I like to mess around with. Some of this transformer stuff is really good. Some of, like, put a little compression on the output stage. I mean, there's a lot of cool things that can be done here. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any other thoughts or comments, please leave them down below. If you have an amp you'd like to see or hear, please let me know. I can do more demos like this, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.